Hi! Today I'm going to create characters from Poppy Playtime using the character creator from the game Spore. I'm going to start by creating Huggy Wuggy. So first, I make a blue base with arms and legs. Then I add this muscle piece on the face to give it some shape. With these red pieces, I make the lips. And with these horn-like shapes, I build the teeth. Now, to make the fur, I'm going to use a bunch of these little leaves. It's like Huggy fell into a flower pot and came back as a walking garden. I add some final details, and let's see how it turned out. So now I want to create Mommy Longlegs. I start with a pink base, add stretchy arms using these limbs, and use a sphere to make the head. I add some feet and hands, which will match the color of the base later. Then I use blue parts to make the outfit and start drawing her face. God, this reminds me of the I Bring You Love episode from The Simpsons. But don't worry, Mommy, I promise I'll fix you. I use this ring-like piece that looks like a colorful sonic loop to draw the hair and add detail with little spheres. Now that she's mostly done, I want to do an experiment. Let's see how many limbs I can add to her. Oh god, it's starting to glitch, but I'll keep going. This is turning into full-on mutation. The air up there must be toxic. Let's check her out in the test room. What is this? It's disturbingly beautiful. Time to undo the mutation and go back to normal. Next, using Mommy's base, I start making Daddy Longlegs by changing the base color, removing facial details, changing the eye color, and adding a mustache. Then I try to fix the body color. I use these parts to create his clothes. Not sure why, but he reminds me of a circus strongman. I make a hat to cover his bald spot, use a green, soon-to-be yellow piece for details, and finish it off with a smile. Now we make baby long legs. Start with a peanut-shaped body and legs, add white balls for the diaper, then the eyes. Looks like he's been watching YouTube Kids at 3 a.m. I finish the mouth, add eye details, adjust the arms, and draw the feet. To make the hair, I duplicate the same piece a bunch of times. Let's see how he moves in the test room. Adorably creepy. Time to create Bunzo. I start with a base that looks like a poorly drawn Simpsons character, then add bunny feet. The clothes are just shorts with suspenders. I use pieces to shape the cheeks, mouth, and draw creepy teeth with white pieces. Add soul-piercing eyes and green detail pieces. The ears kinda look like hair right now, but it'll make sense once it's finished. Add a hat with a triangle piece and yellow pom-pom. I'll give it some final touches. Let's check Bunzo in the test room. Let's make the player. I build the body using lots of geometric parts, and once the suit works, I make the Grabpack. Using cylindrical pieces in various colors, I build the device. Now the hardest part, the hands. Once I finish one, I duplicate it. Let's see the robot dance in the test room. I missed doing Friday Night Funkin' creations, so let's give the player a boyfriend skin. And now let's see how it turned out with Bunzo. Let's make Poppy now. Start with arms and legs, then for the head, I use an anime-style piece. Oh my god. Use a geometric piece for the dress. Right now, she looks like a porcelain doll straight from hell. Try to improve her face with some eyes and circular cheeks. Oh god. I'm going to have nightmares about cursed babies. Add hair and pigtails. She reminds me of Boo from Monsters, Inc. if she had a dark ending. I'll give it some final touches, and let's see how it turned out. Oh boy. Now we create Pugapillar. I stretch him out as long as possible, add lots of legs, and use circular parts for the body and face. Right now, he looks like Frankenstein's dog, but with color he'll look better. Add ears, tongue, shoes, and eye details. Then I duplicate a fur piece over and over for texture. I'll give it some final touches. Let's see our cute mutant dog walk. And let's get started making Boxy Boo. Since it's pretty complicated, we're going to build it in parts. First, we make the head, and with these little balls, the eyes. Now we have to make the mouth, and I'm going to use a bunch of these pieces to add fangs. I'll copy them a bunch of times. Then with this piece, I'll add the fur. Oh my god, it looks like a Muppet, but cursed. Now with this square piece, I'll make the Jack-in-the-Box. The only surprise it has is guaranteed trauma. Now the arms. I'll copy them a bunch of times until they look like this springy mess. Now I'll use these pieces to make the hands and feet. Draw the star on the box, and with these other ones, I'll make the claws. And our walking box ends up looking like this. Oh god, super creepy honestly. Next, I want to try creating Killy Willy. To start, I make a base in black, and with these little white balls, I make the eyes. With these colored pieces, I draw the mouth, and I'm going to use this piece, copying it a bunch of times to make the fangs. Now, with this piece, I start drawing the hair. It looks like a mini Killy Willy, so I'll make him grow and change his position. position. With these pieces, I make a mouth on his belly and add claws to his feet. By copying this piece a bunch of times, I make the fur. And with these black and white balls, I make the eyes on his arms. Let's see how he turned out in the testing room. Let's move on to creating the smiling critters. First character I want to create is a kickin' chicken. And to make this aberration, which barely even looks like a chicken, I start with a base that has arms and legs. Then I make the mouth. I mean, the beak nose. I give it a hairstyle made of arms, a tail made of more arms, and give me a minute to add some final details. Now let's see how this chicken moves in the test zone. Oh my god, it walks with its wings crossed. But let's see if it can pull off some forbidden dance moves. And now I'm going to make Bobby Bear Hug. I start by making the cheeks and the face until it looks like the demon I see during sleep paralysis. I add the soulless eyes, the arms, and the legs. Then I shape those pieces into little bear ears. Now I give him a snout and swap his feet and hands for bear ones. I add some details with these pink pieces, and for the tail, I just slap on some arms. A few final touches, and let's see how this demonic little bear turned out. Oh god, it's adorably cursed. Let's see if it can pull off some forbidden dance moves. And now let's move on to creating Bubba BubbaPants. So I start by adding the cheeks, and to make the elephant trunk, I attach an arm, add the mouth and the soul-stealing eyes. I give it these tiny ears. I'm pretty sure it can hear my thoughts. Then I add the eyes and eyebrows, and for the tail, I use a bunch of arms. With these little cylinders, I add details to the hands and feet, and with these colorful pieces, I make a little light bulb necklace. And the only idea in its head is to absorb your soul through that cursed mouth. And now let's move on to creating Crafty Corn. So I start by making the usual base, and then I shape the body, I make the eyes, and add these ears, which are the closest ones I could find. And with these colorful pieces, I make some modifications so it looks more like My Little Pony and less like My Little Nightmares. And let's see how the possessed unicorn turned out. And now it's time to create Picky Pig, kind of like Peppa Pig's cursed long-lost cousin. So to start, I make this giant mouth, and to build the snout, I use this piece that looks green now, but it's going to turn pink later. I add the arms and legs, then give it those cursed eyes and make the apple collar with these stones. I add these ears, the closest ones I could find. Now, using a bunch of arms, I build the tail, and with these colorful beads, I make the apple it's holding. And let's see how this lost member of the piggy family turned out. Oh god, I don't know if that poor apple will ever recover from the trauma. And now I'm going to make Hoppy Hopscotch. So I start by building a green base, and with these half-circle pieces, I make the bunny ears. And with these black and white pieces, I draw the eyes, mouth, and snout. I tweak the position a bit and add some details to the ears. And I shape these cubes to build a lightning collar. And let's see how this radioactive bunny turned out. And now I continue with the smiling critters. But first, I want to create Hissy Missy. So to make her, I'm going to use a bunch of this fuzzy hair. I'll add arms and legs, plus more arms to build the head. Now with these red gems, I make the lips, and I'll use these black and white beads to make the eyes. I add even more hair, like there's no tomorrow. I'll give it some final touches, and let's see how it turned out. And now I'm going to create Miss Delight. So I start by making her outfit with a bunch of these gem pieces. I add arms and legs, and I'll use these to make the skirt. Now, using these black and white beads, I give her those soulless eyes. I'm going to add these pieces to give the effect of exposed flesh, and with a ton of teeth, I'll make her creepy smile. Now I'm going to draw a layer of skin over her. Oh god. For the hairstyle, I add this wig. Then I add some details to the outfit and give her this bow. And with these little beads, I'm going to make the weapon she holds in her hand. Oh my god. Let's find out if a dance makes her any less terrifying. Nope, definitely not. Let's move on to creating something less disturbing. Dog Day. So I start with a base with arms and legs, and to make Cursed's mouth, I'm going to use a bunch of these stones. I draw the ears using these pieces and adjust the size a bit. Oh no, it looks like he got crushed by an anvil. Better just leave him the way he was. Now I make the collar by combining these pieces. Let's see how he turned out. He looks pretty cute, but now I'm going to use him as the base to make the chained version. So I start by making some modifications, stretching him out, and adjusting the structure a bit. Oh no, not again. Dog Day buddy, you're glitching. So I try to fix it a bit, remove the ears, change the color, and create these new ears by copying a bunch of these pieces. Now I make the zipper and the belt using these pieces, add the stitches from the suit, and to finish, I make the cursed eyes with this piece. Let's see how this abomination turned out. Oh my god, the plushies showed up. This looks like a party I really don't want to be invited to. I'd better start working on the next creation before this ends badly. I'm going to start by creating Catnap, first in its normal drawing version, and then I'll move on to the cursed one. I add this thing that's supposed to be the mouth, then give it arms and legs. With these black stones, I make the cursed mouth and give it those soulless eyes. I don't know why, but it kind of looks like a mini version of Purple Guy. Oh god, it's disturbingly cute. Now I add the ears, shape this piece into the snout, and build the moon using these other pieces. Using a bunch of arms, I make the tail. I'll add the final touches with a ton of these gem pieces until it looks like whatever that is. Let's see how it moves in the test room. It kills me. It moves its little legs like crazy, but it doesn't go anywhere. Time to make the cursed version, so I start modifying the face. Oh god, what happened to it? Let's see how it turned out. That's what happens when you inhale too much poppy gas. Anyway, I add arms until it looks like a rabid cat, and tweak the eyes until it looks like a cat with even worse rabies. With these pieces, I make the stitching on the suit, and with these others, I shape the bones. And remember, if you have a cat, protect it from rabies. Let's see how it turned out. Oh my god, the way it walks. It looks disturbed and happy, as always. Let's see if it's hiding some forbidden dance moves too. And now, let's take a look at the nightmare version of Catnap. I don't know what's going on, but it seriously reminds me of Gorefield, so I change the color to this gray tone, then start making the giant mouth. I replace the feet with these ones that have bigger claws, and let's see how this abomination moves. If this cat crosses your path, the minimum it'll give you is bad luck.
Hello, my baby.
Oh boy.
Hello, honey. Hello, my
And now it's time for the final party.